Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rachak Wadash, the belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopefully elect out there, you Akim to Tadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shaman. This week's topic is going to be entitled The Elites Are Devouring Each Other. All right. Jack Smith, going to what inspired this lesson. Jack Smith, one of the leading prosecutors of the DOJ that was coming against President Trump for the January insurrection situation and another felony charge, literally resigned. You know, Trump said, look, if I get in the office, I'm going to fire that guy within 2 minutes. And he stepped down. And why? Because Trump is a sitting president, right? You can't go against a sitting president. So he's going to be pardoned. I think 2 other people that were involved in that situation will also be pardoned. And you're seeing now that if you've been listening, if you follow politics closely, and you follow the markets, the stock market, the world markets, you'll see when I make the statement that the outcome of elections is not like a wrestling match where Rock, you're going to win tonight, Hulk Hogan, you're going to win tonight. That is far more nuanced than that. That it's more like a Game of Thrones, deals and ruling families stabbing each other in the back and House of Cards situation. I always say that, but I think in this lesson, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give examples, all right? Just like the Jack Kelly situation, I'm going to build upon that. It says, this is Isaiah 92 first off. It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they will fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Okay, so that's the modern day Egyptians, Revelations 11 and 8, so-called white man, all right? These elite people that are in power going against each other. And I'll give an example of how, how I say like the elites don't all agree. Okay, and how markets and companies and politics all play a part into who we're going to want to be president. First of all, if it was rigged like a wrestling match, why would you raise $1 billion? Kamala Harris raised $1 billion. She had $1 billion in backing. Why would you do that if the outcome is predetermined? Or why would you? Let's give an example now. Why would the GOP of Arizona, Jeff DeWitt, try to bribe the senator? I think her name is Lisa Kelly or GOP, the Senator Jeff DeWitt, Arizona GOP. He tried to bribe, I think her name is, Kari Lake. Tried to bribe Kari Lake. And they had it on a phone conversation, okay? And she said, look, if you don't step down, I'll release even more damning phone conversation. So, and he did step down. Why would he risk his political career at the end of his job? You know, if it was just, we just know the outcome. So they do, you have different donors that back different sides. You know, these politicians, some of them, you got to know what people's motives are when you're making a deal. You know, their motives, money. If they have money, can we bribe them in a sense of, honey trapping them, putting them in sticky situations? Our former governor in New York, Governor Cuomo, they got rid of him with some shit that went down 30 plus years ago. So they have dirt on each other to, move the political ties. Now, this is the book of Luke 12 and 2. It says, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Okay, so I'm going to give an example of how elites go against elites, for example, all right? Now, when President Trump was running, most big tech companies were backing Kamala Harris. From your Googles, your Amazons, and all that, your Facebooks, your Metas. Now, they recently came out on Instagram congratulating him on his win. Why? Because he must have some sort of leverage on them, right? Okay, you can look up an individual. He's a billionaire donor of the Republicans. His name is Jeff Yass, right? Jeff, last name Y-A-S-S, right? Jeff Yass. After the Trump win, Meta stock was going down. Meta is owned by Mark Zuckerberg, another big tech individual, right? It was tanking. Why was it tanking? Because Trump said he will no longer be going to try to ban TikTok. Now, TikTok has been crushing revenues. TikTok is a competitor to Meta, competitor to Instagram. And you don't want to end up as a business owner as the next AOL or the next Yahoo, because these companies devour each other. So you want politicians to write and pass particular bills that will behoove and help your company. So that what the Democrats, if you're a Democratic donor, like let's say you're a Democrat donor invested in Meta, you want to ban on TikTok, all right? So you want people to stop using it so they can funnel back to Instagram, right? So Jeff Yass, and I'm gonna tie everything together with the markets and how I'm giving an example of how it's a bit more nuanced. Jeff Yass he became an investor in DJT, Donald Trump stock, right? Which was skyrocketed, right? Billions of dollars poured in. Now, why would that happen? Well, guess what? That's how you could indirectly finance President Trump, okay? So that's an example of how billionaires will go against billionaires, how they have different vested interests of who's in office, you know? And I was looking at something that said Kamala Harris didn't beat Biden not in one county, but is that really accurate? Did Kamala really underperform by not delivering votes, or in 2020 did Joe Biden get added votes? So one thing you could do is you could look on Wikipedia and you could look at the popular votes of all these presidents as of one. In the height of Obama, which was loved by everyone, he had 69 million popular votes, a little bit over that, right? And then after 2012 he fell. Then he had like 65, and then you had President come in, Trump with 62 million, and then in 2020 Joe Biden had 81 million. You could see how it was rigged. How it was. You have members of the mafia in PA literally saying they did contracts with the Biden administration to flood paper ballots in the elections. So it wasn't so much, they kind of fucked themselves, because they had to really overperform. But Trump said something, we're going to make it too big to rig. So it was very hard to rig with the paper ballot situation. Everybody was on top of the migrants. People was already on it, and again, when different politicians are in office, they sign off on different political bills and executive orders, all right? So as a billionaire donor, you want your particular politician in, and this is how they sort of go against each other, right? Well, right now, Trump has a lot of power. The House, the Senate, popular vote, he has a lot of power. So this is what I'm saying. I don't know if it's fact, but this is what I believe. I think the reason why Kamala Harris delayed conceding, just like Hillary Clinton, the only two people that delayed their concession speech, Hillary and Kamala, both women, okay, is because they're making a deal. They call President Trump up and they make particular deals to cover their ass. This is why I believe Joe Biden sabotaged Kamala Harris's campaign by saying Trump supporters are garbage. Why? Because there is a Biden crime family, okay? Joe Biden had 20 shell companies, all right, to launder money, all right, for his deals that he made with Ukraine, and gave it back out to the Biden family, Laundering money through shell companies is very simple. If you think about this, if you're like a drug dealer and you sold some drugs and you made $100, well, and you use that $100 to buy actual things, well, guess what? You just made dirty money clean. The higher up you go, the more intricate stuff you have to do, okay? When we start talking about making millions and billions of dollars in terms of hiding it, they use charity donations, they use offshore shell companies, which these companies, they're not even brick and mortar set up. They're in some offshore country somewhere that has less restrictions, and they do things in cryptocurrency, that's another thing too. Cryptocurrency was set up for nefarious reasons. That was reasons so the CIA and these different politicians, all right, could do things like that. Now Biden knows that Trump could prosecute him for these things, so backdoor deals. This is the whole art of the deal situation. In fact, even now on X, which, by the way, I know I'm saying a lot, but during the presidential campaign, X was the #1 go-to site for political information. So we're seeing a shift in tide where the mainstream media, and Trump will bring this out on stage, is being shifted to alternative media. Joe Rogan, 3-hour interview with Trump, got 44 million views. And people could look at the views, look at dislike ratio. They even got news apps that are letting you know which way the article is leaning, left, right, who's backing the publisher. So people are becoming more privy. Hell, that's why Jeff Bezos says, look, we're not going to openly back Kamala Harris, because the Washington Post, if all you're seeing is lean for left, then guess what? You're going to, in the long term, because these investors like Jeff Bezos are forward thinking, future thinking, people are not going to fuck with us. And they're seeing more people lead towards X, where you get unfiltered information, man. So this changed the political tide in a big way. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 8, concerning these politicians being bribed and leveraged. It says, and thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blindeth the wise and perverteth the words of the righteous. And remember, Sam the Bull, like I mentioned in the last lesson, said Trump, he can't be bought because the mob tried it back in his days, right? So some of these people can be bought. Some of them that already have money, you could leverage things on them. And it is my belief that things might be a lot different this time, because I remember when Trump was running in 2016, one of the big things he said, he was going to lock up Hillary Clinton for all the crazy shit she done did, but he didn't. He played a diplomatic role because he was new to this shit. He didn't understand that you have rhinos. What are rhinos? Rhinos are Republicans that masqueraded Republicans, but they really have, I guess, Democrat donors pulling their strings. Mike Pence was a clear example. If you want to know why Mike Pence, which was Trump's former vice president, is hated by Trump supporters, is because the whole election situation, Mike Pence, they believe, had the power to throw out the those particular electoral votes from Congress because they felt that the elections were rigged, and Mike Pence, the last minute, turned on Trump in a sense that he, Trump was saying, I think Mike is going to do the right thing and throw out those votes. He didn't. So it was the people that surrounded him. They weren't true Republicans, if you will. So that shit also has a lot of these people on edge. Like, he could really come after individuals like Nancy Pelosi, right? Because there's a poll on X right now saying, should President Trump come after Nancy Pelosi, yes or no? A lot of people are going to X. A lot of the dirt that these people do is coming to light. And this is why the show is called These Elites Are Devouring Each Other. They're taking each other out through character assassination, political assassination, career assassination. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 60, verse 64 and 8. It says, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And in closing, I'm going to give an example of how, again, I'm just getting sort of a bit more intricacies of how political outcomes can be determined through behind the scene events, right? So in my organization, I'm a manager, whatever, and I could get into a meeting, all right? I might get in a meeting once in a blue, twice a year with, like, let's say the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, right? And it might be like, 10 people in the Zoom meeting of, different particular status. Guess what? There comes a point in the meeting where it says, look, we need everybody off and these particular individuals stay on. So it's the same thing in politics, right? Just because Trump could have, let's say, Bobby Kennedy, right, former Democrat, or Tulsi Gabbard, in a room full of 100. They might be in a room full of 50. They might not be in a room full of 20. So that's how at that level, negotiating deals in business, you put particular peoples in your circle, and the level of trust, as it rises, you get in a smaller circle. Now, what could happen is, let's say somebody was in a Democrat room, right? And they left that organization. Well, if you was in that room full of 100, what information you know? Can we bring you onto this side and tell us things? And this is how they sort of, and they show you that in House of Cards, okay? So you could have somebody from different parties or different administrations bounce around, and what information do you know? And they'll use it to gather information on their political adversary. You see, that's how they do things. And it's no telling what Trump might have on these different former Democratic leaders that could face crimes. But time will tell. Time will tell how this thing will play out. I do believe they're gonna start devouring each other, man. Like, let's see. Let's see. I gotta wrap it up quick. I know I jammed a lot, but time and a lot of shit I had to say. But let's see if this thing, Lord willing, I could do more lessons and flush it out a bit more. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the most truth and sincerity. Shalom.